Worsening age concerns for Biden is his faltering debate performance. Many Americans had voiced doubts about Joe Biden's age and suitability for government prior to Thursday night. It might be one of the biggest understatements of the year to say that this debate did not allay those worries. The president had a low bar to meet going into the discussion, yet he faltered. He had no depth. He was talking incoherently. He wasn't sure. The Biden campaign attempted to explain the president's hoarse voice by telling reporters that he was fighting a cold about halfway through the debate. That may be the case, but it also seemed like a justification. Joe Biden was, for the most part, out of control for 90 minutes. Especially so early in the evening, some of his responses made little sense. He abruptly stopped responding and said, "We finally beat Medicare," making a strange allusion to the government-run healthcare program for the elderly. Following the debate, Mr. Biden's former director of communications, Kate Bedingfield, made it plain on CNN, saying, "There's no two ways about it. That was not a good debate for Joe Biden." His biggest challenge, according to her, was to demonstrate that he had the stamina and vitality, which he failed to achieve. Like a boxer on the ropes, Mr. Biden began to swing hard at his opponent as the debate went on, trying to shift the tide. A handful of the blows struck, causing the former president to react angrily. But the president's situation was made worse by the fact that the first few questions, brought up by CNN's moderators, focused on immigration and the economy, two major voter issues on which Americans trust Donald Trump more, according to polls. Following yet another response from Biden, Trump said, "I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence, and I don't think he did either." That may have been the night's motto, a more concentrated Trump. For the most part, the former president gave a focused, quick performance. He steered clear of the disruptions and aggressive behavior that marred his 2020 debut debate performance, returning the conversation, where feasible, to criticism of Mr. Biden's record. He kept making statements devoid of evidence and blatant lies, but Mr. Biden was generally unable to pin him down on them. For example, the previous president constantly drew attention away from abortion and onto what he claimed to be Democratic extremism. He falsely stated that Democrats are in favor of abortions performed after a baby is born. Since the Supreme Court's 2022 reversal of Roe v. Wade, which had upheld the constitutional right to an abortion, abortion has emerged as a vulnerability for both Trump and Republicans in general. However, Mr. Biden's attacks in a situation where he had a chance to win points were ineffective. The president remarked, "What you've done has been a terrible thing." A combatant in the ropes, Vice President Kamala Harris, remarked that although the president had a slow start, he finished strong in an appearance that took place soon after the debate. That is excessively hopeful propaganda, but it is true that Mr. Biden became more composed as the discussion went on. In a notorious remark, Mr. Biden stated that former President Donald Trump had the morals of an alley cat and cited his conviction on charges relating to an alleged amorous relationship with adult film star Stormy Daniels. Trump retorted, "I didn't have sex with a porn star." When discussing his reaction to the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, Trump also seemed unprepared. When the president first attempted to transform a question about his involvement in the Capitol disturbance into a criticism of Mr. Biden's record, he was met with resistance. He urged those people to visit Capitol Hill. Mr. Biden stated he sat there for 3 hours as his aides begged him to do something. He did absolutely nothing. In addition, the former president consistently avoided answering questions about whether or not he would accept the results of the 2024 election. What takes place after that? The Biden team wanted it to be the first debate in modern U.S. history, which is partly why it was. One explanation for this is because they tried to draw attention away from Trump early in the campaign trail in the hopes that Americans would be reminded of the unhinged nature of his leadership. However, following this discussion, more people will discuss Mr. Biden's performance than that of the former president. The Biden team might have also desired an early debate, since it would have given their nominee more time to bounce back from a subpar showing. Ultimately, this could be the solace they need after Thursday night. In August, the Democrats will be able to present a more predetermined picture of a second Biden term for the American people at their party convention. Additionally, there is another discussion planned for September that, should it take place, would likely be more recent in Americans' memories when they go to the polls in November. However, a lot of Democrats might be questioning if their man would fare any better if he gets another chance to face Mr. Trump in a debate. Furthermore, some may be considering how they may secure a different presidential nominee at this point. It will take the Biden campaign nearly 2 months to defuse the situation. Democrats would have to mutiny in order to give up on their nominee, who had easily garnered enough primary delegates to be awarded the party's candidacy. Despite reports that certain Democratic officials have expressed concerns in private meetings with journalists, at least up to now, no well-known official has openly broken ranks. Quentin Fulks, the deputy campaign manager, responded that they were not going to dignify that with a response. When questioned by the BBC about the prospect of inviting other candidates to the convention or changing the president, he went on, "President Biden is going to be the Democratic nominee, and he's going to win this election." In the coming days, the first claim might come true if Mr. Biden's campaign is successful in mobilizing his troops. Politicians can persevere in the face of overwhelming adversity, as Donald Trump has shown. But many Democrats might be seriously doubting his chances in November after tonight's debate.